What's up, guys? Welcome to Sib's Photo Tips. Today I'm going to be teaching you 3 techniques that you can use to change color in your pictures after you get them uploaded to your computer. We're going to start with a simple Adobe Photoshop tutorial, but don't fret if you don't have it, because I've also got a few tricks up my sleeve on how you can change color in your pictures without spending a penny on expensive photography software. Without further ado, let's head into our first picture. If you don't recognize this photo, you probably haven't seen this video. Be sure to check it out. Our first step, we're going to go up to the filter menu and select Camera Raw Filter. Now we're going to go to the panel at the top, hit Target Adjustment tool, and select Hue. As you can see, our cursor has changed to a crosshair. This allows us to select different colors in the picture and slide the cursor left and right to change the hue of that color specifically. Right now I have green selected and I can change it to a different tone completely or make it a very saturated green. Let's play with this orange on her shirt. If I slide it to the right, it turns very yellow, but if I slide it to the left, it turns very pink. You can see when I slide my cursor left and right, it also affects her skin tones. It doesn't matter that much in this picture since it's an artistic, high-fashion portrait. However, in some pictures, you want to carefully target what you're changing the color of so it doesn't affect other things. I kind of like how the pink's looking. When I slide the green to the right, it really brings out a lot of detail on her arm over here too. I'm liking that, but it's looking a little too saturated in this area. Head over to the saturation tab at the side, and then just like the other tool, click and drag left and right. This allows us to change the saturation of each color selectively. I like how this is looking, but let's go into the last tab, Luminance. Now you can see, just like the other tabs, when you click a color and slide it left or right, it only adjusts for that color. In this case, it's adjusting the luminance. Once everything's looking good, just go back and tweak a couple things, click OK, and you can see how much our image changed before to after. Wow, it's really amazing how much extra punch you can get out of an image if you just put a little extra work into it. If you find this video useful or you like what you see, then hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll be sure to deliver more of me to you. Oh God. Let's head on to the next technique. I'm going to demonstrate this technique on an old photograph that I took of my friend Janella. This makes for a perfect example of how to change color. We're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and down to Replace Color. As you can see, a dialog box has popped up and our cursor has turned into an eyedropper. The eyedropper is how we tell Photoshop what we'd like to change the color of. In this case, we're going to work on Janella's dress. Since her dress is the only blue thing in the image, it makes it really easy to tell Photoshop that that's what we want to change the color of. So let's click somewhere on her dress that's not the brightest and not the darkest. I like right about here. Now hold the Shift tool to tell Photoshop that there's multiple tones that we'd like to select. Now click somewhere that's a little bit brighter, like up here, and a little bit darker, like down here. Okay, now that our selected color is blue and her dress is looking fully highlighted, head over to the fuzziness bar and slide it as far over as you can without making her dress turn gray. Right about there looks good. Now we're going to head down to the hue slider to change our color. Click on it and slide it left and right, and as you can see, her dress magically changes color without affecting anything else in the image. I'm actually kind of liking this yellow, but it's a little dark. I'm going to lighten it up with the lightness slider, and then add a little saturation. Perfect. I'm quite happy with how this is looking. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, there's actually an in-browser application very similar to Photoshop called PhotoP. And now that you have PhotoP open up, grab that image, drag it into the browser, head up to Image, Adjustments, Replace Color, just like in Photoshop. And as you can see, the dialog box that popped up is very similar to Photoshop. Click the color, and then just like we did with the eyedropper, click on her dress. Since we don't have the same black and white preview of what we're selecting, move the hue slider over a little bit, and then adjust the fuzziness to see how much of it is changing. If we go too far this way, you can see it's affecting her skin tones too. We don't want that. So slide it back until it looks like it stops affecting her skin tones and only covers the area that you want it to. I can see here that we're close, but if you look at the folds of her dress, you can see that they're not fully covered. So we might need to go just a little bit darker on the blue. Let's try that. All right, now you can adjust the hue and change the color of her dress, just like in Photoshop, but without spending the monthly fee. I'm really impressed with how well this is working. I haven't tried it myself, but I've been told that you can run Photopea on your mobile phone, so you don't even need a computer to run it. All right, allow me to demonstrate my third technique with my friend Braden, who has been posting bicycle content for 666 days in a row. I reached out to him and said, in celebration of the number, we should do a photo shoot where we turn you into the devil riding around town. And he was totally down for it. All right, since it's pretty much exactly the same between the programs, I'm just gonna demonstrate in Photoshop, but most of the skills that I show you are almost 100% transferable to PhotoP. Okay, so the first step is we're gonna create a new layer by pressing Shift-Control-N, and then hit Enter. And now we're gonna paint the color red everywhere that Braden's skin is showing. It'll look a little weird at first, but trust me on this one. Once his skin is fully covered, switch the blend mode to multiply. This will make it look like he got a really bad sunburn. Now bring the opacity down to about 65%. If the blend mode multiply isn't quite working for your image, try switching the blend mode to color. This should work for you. Now I turn this layer into a layer mask, and I select the brush tool and paint black everywhere that I don't want to turn red. This can take quite a bit of time, but it's totally worth it in the end. From this point on, I still have a lot of work to do on the image, so I'm just gonna speed it up and show you guys in a montage.